Massive Commanders free agency update. Today's video, we will be discussing the latest reports revolving around the newest target for the Washington Commanders, revolving around free agent running back, comeback player of the year finalist, J.K. Dobbins. I'm your host, Azael Mejia, with Commanders Digest, reporting everything all Washington Commanders, all season, regular season, everything between. So if you want to be caught up to date, everything Washington Commander, make sure to run it up, subscribe right here to the channel. Like I said, this video is about J.K. Dobbins, free agent running back. Viewers, Commanders fans are going to be confused, like, why is J.K. Dobbins on the radar for Adam Peters, AP, and gang, if they already have so many options with the run? You have Brian Robinson Jr., Austin Eckler. They just drafted Jacoy Krotsky-Merritt. And then you also have to consider Jayden Daniels, who is a dual threat quarterback who can throw the ball. And if you haven't seen our previous video, go watch a previous video after this one. He's getting the big boy gains, Jayden Daniels, so he can throw the ball better based off reports. And then, but even with that, if he sees a clear lane, he's gonna take it. So you have all these options when it comes to the run. Why do you go get J.K. Dobbins? I will explain that, why Dobbins may be the best option for the Commanders next season. But before that, 87.5 of y'all who are watching the videos are not subscribed. That's crazy. It's for the free skis. It takes 2 seconds. It really helps the channel grow. We do have a subscriber goal of trying to hit 500 subscribers by week 1 of the NFL. Based off the recording of this video, week 1 is 100 days away. So I know we can do it. Everything's been in the green. But get back to the video. J.K. Dobbins, a little backstory on him. He was drafted back in 2020 by the Baltimore Ravens. He spends a couple seasons there. I believe his third season with the Ravens is where he suffered a torn Achilles in a season opener against the Houston Texans, which sent him to the Los Angeles Chargers, where he got that nomination for comeback player of the year, because he did rank top 25 among most stats for major stats among all running backs, including carries 195, yards 905, touchdowns 9. So he did have a great performance last season coming off an injury. But just to break down why, this doesn't help my case, but I'll explain why it does in a way. Why do the Commanders need him? Washington did finish 4th in the league in rushing yards per game, exactly with 149.1 yards per game rushing. So why do they need another running back? That doesn't make any sense. I'm going to break it down. On the outside looking in, that is great. They have all these running backs. They rank 4th among all teams at rushing yards per game. But I'm gonna peel it back. Y'all may not believe it or not based off the comments. I've done the research. On why that is great looking out. But looking in, there is a problem when it comes to the running back situation. There's no secret the fan base was very vocal about, and maybe it was a confusion among coaching staff as well, that there was a confusion among who was the clear-cut running back 1 for the Commanders last season. He wanted it to be Brian Robinson Jr., but he did underperform in some games, and then he was fumbling here and there, and then they tried to get Austin Eckler in there, but Austin Eckler is on the older side. I don't want to say it, but the TikTok brain rot kids are going to say Unk, but that's I believe he still has more to give. So there wasn't a clear-cut running back. Now, you could get J.K. Dobbins in there, and not only, it doesn't even have to be he could be the running back 1, but he could create that environment where there is competition. We talked about it in previous videos. If you haven't seen those videos, go watch those after this one. That Adam Peters is trying to create that competitive environment in the locker room. So to give the idea that just because you were wide receiver 1, running back 1, doesn't mean you're going to be that same position this upcoming season. He wants everybody to battle for their spot to create that competitive environment among the players. And like I said, okay, they do have a lot of options at the running back position, but there's a problem. Believe it or not, there is a problem when you're the leading rushing leader. The rushing leader for the team is the quarterback. Jayden Daniels, yes, was the rushing leader for the Commanders last season with 891 yards. Brian Robinson, 799, and then Austin Eckler with 367 rushing yards. Okay, but I'm not trying to say, oh, what are you saying, that Jayden Daniels should have run with the ball? He could run with the ball, but the problem is you're creating a bigger workload for him. You're creating a bigger workload. He's the golden goose. He's the leader of this team. You don't want him to overwork more than he has to. You already have 17 games in the season. Then you have 3 playoff games and then a Super Bowl if you're lucky. So that's what? That's 17 plus 4. That's 21, 18, 19, 20. Yeah, 21 just to make sure 21 games if they make it that far. But yeah, so you don't want to overwork your quarterback. Jayden Daniels did also suffer injury his rookie season with a rib injury midway through, so you don't want to give him more work than he has to do. That's why you got to bring in a reliable running back who had a great performance last season, J.K. Dobbins. Brian Robinson Jr., and Austin Eckler, like I said, they had their own situations. They didn't even play all 17 games in a Commanders uniform. They did. Both of them each missed a couple games. But we're going to break down the stats on why JK got... Ooh, we're not... Whoopsie. That's a quote for later. He played 13 games. His rushing attempts were 195, 9 touchdowns. This is his total yards. This is including his receiving and his rushing, 1,058. Yards per attempt is 4.6. Yards per game, 81.399. This is including his rushing and his receiving. His receptions, 32. First downs were 53. 61 was his longest rush. Other stats include 5'10", his height, and then 26 years young. We're also going to look at what Gilberto Manzano from Sports Illustrated had to say about him not finding a team yet and what it could look like him being in the Commanders uniform next season. It's a bit surprising that Dobbins remains unsigned after bouncing back from significant injuries to emerge as a comeback player of the year candidate with the Chargers last season. Perhaps teams aren't willing to pay a certain price for a running back with an extensive injury history, but the Commanders could use a productive back such as Dobbins, who recorded 905 yards in 13 games last season. Dobbins wouldn't have to carry a heavy workload with Brian Robinson Jr. and Austin Eckler also on the Commanders roster. Just to break it down, it does summarize why he may not be on a team. Like I said, he did suffer the torn Achilles. He also has some other lingering injuries, so that could be why he hasn't found a team yet. But let's entertain the idea. You could have in a team, you could have Brian Robinson Jr., Austin Eckler, J.K. Dobbins, and also Jayden Daniels just rushing all over any team at any point next season. But it's unlikely. Obviously, it's unlikely you get all three of these in a Commanders uniform, but even a combination. Cliff Kingsbury will create so many schemes using any combination of these four players. Now I'm going to look at the quote by Derek Tay from Heavy Sports, revealing multiple reasons why the Commanders should sign J.K. Dobbins, saying adding Dobbins would make sense for a couple reasons. First, Dobbins has been the more explosive and efficient ball carrier between these two players during their NFL careers. He's talking about comparing Dobbins and Brian Robinson Jr. He also says, second, if Dobbins' durability concerns come back to bite him in 2025, then you have a quality alternative option in Robinson ready to go. If the price is right, then adding Dobbins could be a nice addition to the Commanders' rushing attack in 2025. So, not even just comparing their last season, but their whole career, Dobbins does come on top over Brian Robinson Jr. So that does make the case on why you should go get Brian Robinson Jr. Not Brian Robinson, I'm getting them confused. Go get J.K. Dobbins. He does, like I said, he comes up on top over Brian Robinson Jr. and Austin Eckler. He did rank top 25 in a lot of major stats for the running back position. You are trying to relieve that workload for Jayden Daniels, because you don't want to make him work so hard next season, because a lot of teams are going to be coming after the Commanders. You don't think all these other teams are going to take the Commanders more seriously next season than they did this season? The Eagles are going to take them more seriously. The Cowboys, the Eagles, Cowboys, Giants, all right there. Who else did they play? They play the Chiefs next season. They play the Seahawks. They play the Broncos. Every team's going to take them more seriously because they have proven that they are Super Bowl contenders. You don't think people are pissed that, the Commanders went from the lowest team to now a Super Bowl contender? I'm not saying it, but that's what the people are saying. That's what analysts are saying. But what do you guys think? Do you guys think that the Commanders should make a move to go get J.K. Dobbins and put him in a Commanders uniform next season? Or are they just perfectly fine and there is no problem and I'm just making up stuff that there is no problem among the rushing options in Washington? But if anything breaks for the Commanders, will be covered right here on the channel. But I'm Azael Mejia with Commander Digest, and I'll see you in the next video.